In this video, I'm going to show you how you need to write your CV from scratch to actually get the offer you want, to find the job you're looking for. Because these days it's not that easy to find a job, and it's not easy to compete with others, and also it's not easy even to write this CV in the first place because it's confusing. Most of the time it's confusing because you're not sure what the employer wants from you. So it's a technique, it's a skill that you need to learn through time. I've already talked about how to write your CV from scratch. Well, in the previous video, we talked about some basic stuff to write down your draft, and then also we took a look at the overview of applying for a job, come up with the draft CV, and then look for the jobs you want, and then try to carefully read the job description, and then tailor your CV based on the job you want. Then try to copy and paste the CV multiple times, because you need to tailor the CV for each particular position to match the position. And also we have sometimes cover a motivation letter, we need to send that as well. And then finally just apply for the application. That was the overview I talked about in the first video basically, and then in the second video I talked about the draft CV, how to come up with the basic stuff we want in our CV. And then in this video, I'm going to go deeper, writing the CV from scratch and add all the details needed, and also making sure that it's going to work actually in the field when you apply for the job. So it should be a good match with the position. So the problem I talked about is that most of the people think that they're competing with other applicants. Well, that's true. That's the just half of the reality. But the other half of the reality is that most of the time, even these days, it's even more important. Actually, it was like today that we were in a meeting that company told us, well, the manager told us that they couldn't find the developer they want, and they just need to reopen the position again. you know Hundreds of applicants applied and none of them chosen because nobody was good. So the very first thing that most of people get stuck here, that you need to compete with others. The most important thing is that you need to compete with the job description. You actually need to have the skills and qualities for the specific job to get hired, because these days companies looking for mainly skillful, experienced engineers or developers, or in some other areas. Even it doesn't matter if you're a cook, if you're working in the general industry, if you're working as a cleaner, it doesn't matter. They just need people with the skill. They need to make sure that you can do the job. They need the job done. you know that's number one priority for the companies. They want somebody that just do the job for them, not to telling them what to do or wait for them to learn stuff. Because these days with AI, they expect you to already know stuff, especially when it comes to tech industry, data engineering, machine learning, DevOps, data science, developer, being a developer, and some other titles in this area. So this is the most important thing you need to be careful about, that you're not competing with others. Actually, you're competing with the job description. If you're not a good match, it doesn't matter if you're the only one applying for that specific job. So you need to, I'm insisting on this. I talked about this a lot in the previous video. You need to watch that to see my reasoning. But the most important thing, the most important reason why I'm insisting on this one is that if you miss this, you're missing the whole point, and it's easy to just miss this. And I've already talked about some other stuff you need to consider when you're writing your CV. Now, actually, we want to apply these in real world, in a CV here I have, this is basically my own CV. I changed it a little bit, but it's been my CV for the past 10 years. It has been changed a lot. It wasn't like this when I started writing CV. It was so messy, it was so unrelated. And here even I added some stuff manually, intentionally actually, to make a point. We will see that. We will talk about that. So let's get started writing the CV we want. So my suggestion is that start using Google Doc or Office Word, doesn't matter which one, but it's easier to work with these tools rather than going online and using online tools, because it makes it so difficult for you to modify it, to keep track of it, to keep it for yourself, because sometimes you start using one of these online tools and then the moment you want to save it or export it, they just want some money from you. And because we want to have different versions of our CV, it's just easier to go to Google Drive, try to come up with a Google Doc, come up with the draft, and then keep the draft as it is, and then create a copy of that, rename it as like sample CV or draft CV or main CV, and then on top of that, step by step, try to make it better, but don't remove the whole thing, just copy and paste it. Because when it comes to applying for other positions as well, in LinkedIn, there are different positions. So we have, even if you're applying for a specific title like being a developer, are you a JavaScript developer, Python developer, C++ developer? Maybe you have all the skills in all these fields, but the problem is that you need to be related to that particular position. Your CV should be tailored for that particular position. That's very important. You need to consider. So you need to create different versions, different mutations of your CV, but tweaking it a little bit. I'm going to show it to you in a minute how you can do that. So to have the CV, use tables. It makes it really easy to keep the content in a good shape. So tables, but then when you add the tables like this, for instance, so I have a table here, I just need to come to table options, and here when I'm done with writing the CV, the only thing I need to just change the color of the border. So if I make it white, now you don't see the table anymore and it looks nicer. Look at this. And now it feels better. The other important note you need to pay attention is that your CV should be max 2 pages. And 1 page for a CV is too short, I can say. It's always good to have 2-page CV. In the first page, you include all the important stuff. So as you can see here, I have main skills, I have the job description, basically the summary of my CV, not job description, but it should match with the job description actually. So, and also I have job experiences here. Here my skills a little bit long, but it was intentional because when you are writing your CV, you need to come up with a main CV, add anything you can, add everything you can think of that you know or you are interested or you're learning at this point, just add it. But then when it comes to applying for an actual position, you need to remove some of them, you need to reorder it, and you need to make it shorter. So we're gonna do it in a moment. And also when it comes to job descriptions, you're gonna have at least 2 latest jobs you had in the first page, and then for the second page, you're gonna have the rest of the job experiences and also your side projects, your education, all the other stuff you want to have in your CV. But when you want to apply for actually for student positions like master positions, PhD positions, you need to actually change the position of job experiences and your education, because in the academic field, in the academic area, they need to see your education first. it's more relevant, and then it goes to job experiences. Okay, so now let's start from top. So always suggest that write your CV from top to bottom. There are some templates out there, or even these online tools that you have sites here that you add your skills, your languages in the site, but it's not really good practice in my opinion, because you know uh, the person who's looking at your CV, they don't have that much time, maybe at max 2 minutes. They just want to scan your CV. You know, most of people think that the readers have time to carefully read the CV, go to the details, like spend half over checking everything. It's not like that. The the guy who's doing this, this is not her or his job to do when it comes to reading the CVs and do the hiring. For instance, the lead of the team in our team, for instance, she doesn't or he doesn't have the time to do this. Her or his plate is full of other things to do. But as a side, they need to also read the CVs, do the hiring, and do this stuff. So they don't have that much time. They just want to spend as less as they can. They have hundreds of CVs to look into. Okay, so they just have at max 2 minutes to just look at the CV and make a conclusion that if it's good to just put it aside and then again look at it again, you know. So in the first level, they just want to filter it, make it at least half. So then they go with the rest of the half, and then they just narrow it down as it goes. So this is how it's done in real world. So top to bottom, it makes it a lot easier for them to scan your CV. And when you have all the important and really important things and related stuff to the job description, when it's in bold, it's a lot easier for them to just scan it. You know, for instance, when you look at the CV, what you see first. So obviously, you see my name, and then here web developer, and then probably here, if you want to just quickly as possible scan it, you go to hard skills, web developer, architect, soft skill, leadership, skill summary. I can see some here: Node.js, React, PostgreSQL, DockerSQL. Okay, already they made up their mind that if you're a good fit for this position or not. That's it. If the job is looking for a Python developer, and they're looking for, a machine learning engineer, you already missed it. That's it. Because even if you mention something about machine learning or Python in some other part of your CV, for instance, here I have Python, it doesn't matter, because there are a lot of other applicants who already have these related skills, Python, machine learning, at the top of their CVs. So this is very important. You need to pay attention. So here, top to bottom, and add your name. As you can see, I use the table here, 3 columns, add your name. And here it's good to add the title. So for instance, if it's a web developer, add web developer, Python, PHP, and Node.js. It tells them that you are experienced with PHP and Node.js mostly. You're not limited to that, but this is your main expertise, and it's very important. Already, you're giving them the sign that actually this is something I'm looking for. Okay, so be careful about all these small stuff. All of them together build the whole picture of you. Add your email, telephone number, LinkedIn, GitHub location, and here you can add some nice icons. So here the location is missing, so here I can use like this free website flat icon. Just grab one of these cool icons and just put it here. And so after this part, so again, I just need to make the border white. You can see it looks much nicer. Also, I can adjust the edges like that. It's easy to work with tables if you come up with tables. That's a trick to have the nice CV. And also here we want to have a summary. So summary, first of all, in the first sentence, quickly you say that what you've been doing and what is your core skills. So during the past 6 years, already you're saying that you have 6 years of experience. It's very important when you're applying for experienced roles like senior roles or lead roles. And even 6 years is not long enough, but at least you should have 5 years if you're applying for, if the job is not junior position. So 5 or 6 years, I have not sharpened my, so hard skills, web developer, architect. Here you say architect, and then we have team leadership, client consultancy. You add all these details, and now you say that this might be extra. If you want to add it, you can add it. So here I'm saying that I'm also working on my side project, but it's not that important. If you have enough job experiences, you don't need to add your side projects to the summary. Now I'm ready to leverage my skills and experience in web development related to, so here you need to add the related skills. So this is just a template, but in the reality, you need to come to LinkedIn, for instance, search for jobs. Let's say we want to be a developer. Doesn't matter where, could be anywhere, like USA even. So here we have Java developer, we have software developer, in as general, React developer, junior Java developer, full stack developer. All these things are different. You need to be careful what you put in your CV. So let's take a look at one of these. So for instance, Java developer. So what they need from us, there's a very short description, but it's very important. So we're looking for highly skilled programmer with experience building web applications. It's very important. Web applications in JavaScript. So in Java, not JavaScript. So that's the main thing. From top to bottom of your CV, they need to see this, that you have built Java applications in your previous jobs. You have it in your description here. So hard skill as a Java developer and architect, it's also important. So here, if you pay attention, Java developers are responsible for analyzing user requirements and business objectives. So here, again, this is what I added here, team leadership, client consultancy. It means that I can talk to client, I can talk to management, to the stakeholders. You need to add these things as well. Java-based applications. Analyzing user requirement. So practically you need to just, copy some of these important notes from here. So building web applications in Java. Simply I can just grab it, only sharpen my skills. So you can use ChatGPT even to just, here rephrase this a little bit. So that way, it's not going to be exact copy of that, but developing web applications using Java, building Java-based applications, but it's basically literally the same thing. So here, my skills, like I can replace it with this, skills in building Java-based web applications. Or you can change it like this, building web applications with Java building web applications using Java and across different stacks and technologies. But I also develop my soft skills in, you can find it here again. So, and I was in user requirements and business objectives. So you just need to come to GPT again. Evaluating user needs and business objectives, analyzing customer requirements and acquisition. So you can use any of these stuff here and add it to your CV here in analyzing customer requirements and organizational goals, team leadership, etc. So now you're making CV tailored to the job description. And this is very important. Otherwise, the CV here I have a lot of skills here: PHP, JavaScript, Node.js, Python, SQL, all kinds of frameworks, tools, but it doesn't matter because there are some other people who are more related to the position. And then when we're done with the summary, we come to the next section here. Have a skill summary. You can add some important stuff here. So here definitely I'm gonna add Java, of course, and maybe even remove this. So Java, PostgreSQL, Docker, REST API, all these things related to each other. Pretty much you need to have the knowledge about them. And also, again, proficient in Java and web development with Java. Probably you just want to remove all this stuff from here and then add things like, high efficient web applications, and some of these terms. You can find even some of the other related terms in other positions. And that way you complete your hard skills and even you reorder it. So of course we need to have knowledge of GitHub, but for instance here we don't need to have knowledge about DDEV, for instance. We just need to remove it. We don't need these things: Metabase, Kafka, Spark, BigQuery. These are for data engineering stuff, machine learning. So I just remove it because it's not relevant. It's good to have AWS services probably, and so on. So one by one, but you reorder it, everything that is related. So I can just ask ChatGPT to list the skills needed here, and you need to put it throughout the CV. Java programming, web applications, software design, architecture, software testing, debugging. So you can use all of them in different parts of the CV. So when it comes to job experiences, now after the hard skills, we have soft skills. So again, here you can find a lot of soft skills here. So technical documentation writing, you just need to come to the top, add it here. Statistical analysis. And here we have analytical skill, communication skills. So basically all of these: technical writing, written, verbal, stakeholder communication. It's very important. Teamwork and collaboration, of course. Team leading experience. All the other experiences you have, they're important, but maybe they're not related, but it's not important because first things you have here are all related to the job description. And then when you add these stuff here one by one, I can say that this job description is not really good. So if you check another Java developer, so here we have a good one. So design, develop, optimize REST API. We already included REST in our CV. Test API, Power Developer. Here again, you can ask ChatGPT to just, list the skills and rephrase it. So practically you can just copy and paste it and add it to your CV. So that was from the skill section. Now we have similar situation with job experiences. Again, I put it back black. We need to have two columns here. So like this, you can easily add tables. Just need to come to insert tables and add the table you want. It's really easy. I can even come up with a new one. Just show it to you how it works. Table. So we can have these tables, just adjust the width and then start typing the job description. It's really easy. So here you start with your title and the company and whatever you've been doing in the previous position or your current position. Played a significant role in data development, several high-profile websites. And so as you can see, there's no sign of Java here, and it's wrong. It's very bad, very bad. So first thing, I need to just change it to Java course, and any Java related framework, you can search for that. So the point is that you already know about Java and frameworks around it. You're not gonna lie, because there's no point, even if you have zero knowledge of Java and you're not even trying to learn it and you just want to get the job, it's not gonna happen. There's a good chance that they just give you the very first interview, but the moment you start talking about your experiences about Java, in 5 minutes they're gonna catch you. They're gonna understand that you have zero experience about Java and you have no idea what you're talking about. It's really easy for senior engineers to spot that. So don't try to fool them. You're just wasting your time. But sometimes it's a good experience, good practice for you to practice how to write a good CV. So you can apply, as a fake candidate, just copy and paste the job description to the CV to just see the feedback, to see if you get the interview or not, and then you can just stop there. Or if you even you can go to the interviews, but it's not really good to just start saying lies, because it's not gonna end well for you. But one thing you can do, if you're interested in Java but you have some other experiences, for instance with Python, with JavaScript, but you know a little bit about Java and you're learning it, so you apply for it right now, and then during this process you start learning Java more and more and try to come up with examples that actually there is a good match between your previous projects and Java. So if you had a project before in Python, there are a lot of things around that similar to Java. So for instance, here in this position, they need Java, but also they need to have the knowledge of REST APIs, GraphQL, AI-powered developer tools. So it's not only about Java. It's good to see Java in your CV. They want to see that, but it's not only about that. So you can add Java and also start learning about that during the process. And then during interviews, you can talk about the whole experiences you have, not only about Java. But if you have no idea about any of these, so that's a wrong decision to make to just apply for this position. Okay, that's for the job experiences. You just need to add them one by one, and then the year here. And here you need to talk about your achievements, the technologies you used, explain the project and what you did there actually. And sometimes people say that it's good to come up with numbers. Well, that's a good practice, but it's not easy always to come up with numbers. I've seen CVs that people just put numbers there randomly to say that we got this result. We increased the accuracy 90%. But in reality, it's not like that all the time that you can come up with numbers. So be careful about that. If you overuse numbers there, they're gonna find out that you just added there to just show that you had some achievements. But in reality, you don't have to do that. So just try to come up with as much as details as you can. Explain what you did there and all the tools. And also soft skills, leadership. So basically all the skills you list here, you need to say where and when you use them, in which projects, in which jobs. If you just add them here and there is no sign of related experiences or job experiences, or no relation to side projects or education, well, they start wondering that's where it's coming from. And they start thinking that maybe you just added it here because you saw it in the job description. Be careful about that. And then after the job experiences, it's time for side projects, if you have any side projects. So this part is very important for junior positions when you don't have that much experiences, that much job experiences before. So you need to start working on different projects, personal projects, projects on GitHub. Try to show that you've been working on something. Try to show that you've been learning something at least. For junior positions, for training positions, they want to see that at least. Otherwise, there's nothing you can put in your CV. And also education. And be careful about positions because, for instance, here I'm an electrical engineer. I have a background in electrical engineering, but over the past 10 years, I've been applying to machine learning engineering, to data engineering, data scientist positions, all these non-related positions exactly. But how I survived was that I just, added the related stuff. Like here, biomedical signal processing, biological signal modeling. These are the courses, neural networks. These are related to machine learning, data science. So add courses that you have passed or projects you've been working or you have worked during your studies. It makes it a lot easier for them to understand the connection between your academic background, your degrees, and the job description and your interests, of course. So another point here is that remove extra information. So here, for instance, I need to get rid of electrical engineering because yes, I'm an electrical engineer, but I'm not applying for electrical engineering position. So it's not helping. unless I don't have that much experience in my CV. So to say that I was working as an electrical engineer, I can add it here, but also I need to explain why I'm changing fields. That's very important. So I just get rid of that because, I have enough experience, job experience here. Also, as you can see, it's not two-page CV. So here at the top, I have some notes. So already talked about this. Page setup is also important. So to put all the content in 2 pages, you need to play with, the margins, top, bottom, left, right. Here, talked about tables, adjustments, icons. So also in your history, job experiences between, for instance, your education and job experiences, if there is a gap, they're gonna notice it and ask you what you, why there is this gap, what you've been doing during that gap. Especially if you don't have that much experience, job experiences, they're gonna be curious about that. So you need to come up with a good reason. Tailoring 2 pages, remove extra info. Consistency is very important. The most important thing, multi-versions. Now that you are ready with your basic CV, so this CV I can say is good for this Java position. But then again, we have another position for full stack developer. Now all of a sudden, everything is different here. They need all kinds of experiences, for instance, Python, Django. So it's not good practice that you start modifying the same CV because it's just wasting time. So what I highly suggest is that try to just make a copy of this CV, and then try to rename it and start modifying this. So next time when you want to apply for Java positions, you already have a good CV that you need to play with it a little bit. But when you want to have, so here I need to change it for Java developer. I can even get rid of this. So when I save it, now this CV is for Java developer. And here it's going to be full stack developer. And it makes it a lot easier for you to have multiple versions and apply as fast as possible. So I think I've already talked about all the stuff I wanted to talk about in this video. So basically we can create a CV from scratch. If I just remove this, now we have the CV only in 2 pages, which is really great. Even I need to reduce the size of hard skills, so maybe I just remove all this stuff. So this is, I think, good amount of skills you need to have. Also, I need to remove some soft skills to just have the main stuff here. So now let me just remove this as well because it's redundant. I don't need it. Also remove this stuff. So here, at the first glance, when the interviewer is going to review your CV, they're going to see some interesting stuff here. So hard skills, building web applications with Java, team leadership, nice. You need to make it in bold actually. So in Java with Java and technologies around that in a new opportunity. It's not good technologies around that. You need to just name it what you mean by that. But anyway, here see this Java, again Java in hard skills. They see some of the related stuff like, I don't know, I need to fix this stuff, but high efficient web applications, SQL, PostgreSQL. They see, for instance, you can add REST APIs. And then here they see technical documentation writing, stakeholder communication, teamwork and collaboration. And then when it comes to job experiences, they see again like Java, Node.js frameworks, high profile websites, architecture solutions, RESTful APIs. So here I need to fix this. PHP Drupal not related. Python scripts not related to Java. So it's very important to pay attention to the latest two job experiences you had. And also to the education, well, it's good to be related, but you don't have to actually put Java here, of course. And that's it, I guess, for this CV. I already talked about most of the important stuff, but I'm gonna come back with another video going deeper and deeper, and I start talking about different levels, also how to deal with rejections, how to read or actually looking for jobs. But it's very good to know what you think about these videos, and if you have any comments, if you have any feedback, I'd like to hear. But that was for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one soon.